calling, Radico, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. So there are nuclear reactors, active nuclear reactors, right where this earthquake and tsunami are. Now, they're going to lie. They're going to lie. Do not trust one word they say. The atom bomb disease. Do not trust. Just remember, Fukushima is an ongoing, it's the greatest cover-up in human history. 7.6 with a 3-meter tsunami. There are active reactors right there. So they've only fired up a very few, restarted in Japan, but one of them is right there. Onagawa. That plant has multiple reactors there. It's active. Now there's a bigger plant there, but they tried to restart it, and it got no. The Japanese NRA said hell no. Right there, where this is that big enough to take out cement fuel pools? Big enough to melt? Yeah. And they're not going to tell you. And if they're not going to tell you, you know nothing about Chernobyl. If it wasn't for Igor going in there with his helicopter taking that, but you would never know. If it wasn't for the live cam on that the activists put in the China Sea, put in the ocean there, in the Pacific, it was the activist community that had that live cam on the reactors. And then Anderson Vanderbilt Cooper, who went to Fukushima, remember him, Sanjay Gupta? Partisan MD, oh yeah, meltdowns. Come home, never mention it again. Are you kidding? They're not going to tell you. They're going to lie. And they've got it so circled in Japan that it's unbelievable. They're going to lie. That's a guarantee. That is an absolute guaranteed lock. They're going to lie. And if you haven't proved that, the untouchables, no accountability. Lessons from Fukushima unlearned. This is a big, and the reason this is so paramount is because there are active, there's only a couple active nuclear reactors in Japan out of the 54. They're all shut down. They've tried to fire up 14 of them, but that hasn't happened. The one that is right there, there's 3 reactors right there at that plant. They tried to refire it up. Didn't happen. But this one has been refired up, and there's 2 reactors there. All hands on deck, all hands on deck. And if the Japanese activists try to put anything up now that they've got the wagon circled on TikTok and every other platform with Geiger counters, they're going to just take it down. They're not going to let it up. Because if you haven't learned by now, the nuclear energy cult, aka the untouchables, can do anything to anybody. If I'm not living proof, I don't know what is. All hands on deck, all hands on deck. This, I'm telling you. And it's not that far from Fukushima Daiichi or Diani. And Fukushima Daiichi is the greatest ongoing catastrophe. They haven't cleaned anything up. 4 cores burned in the Pacific Ocean. Kevin Blanch has proved the freaking greatest ecological catastrophe in human history. But we want more. Refire them all up. Trump's bestie, his new bestie. What happened to his last bestie? Remember, Nato Khan was the prime minister of Japan when Fukushima happened. They forced him out, propped up Abe. Trump's bestie, who met with him all the time. Trump's the biggest Fukushima. He's past Barry Antoine Obama. And he knows about it because he talked about it. He talked about Fukushima on Bootlicker Joe Rogan when Joe Rogan was talking about nuclear energy being the clean energy source. Why would Bootlicker Joe Rogan, who couldn't do a spent fuel pool from a cooling tower, be promoting? Because the cult has control of this country. The Epstein cult, the Middle East of Eden cult, the nuclear energy cult, they're all one and the same. There's a reason Epstein's place was at Los Alamos. Ask Bill Richardson. Ask Jeff Bezos. Born there to a teenage mother. That's not his real last name. Ask his grandpa, the original Department of Atomic. They got control of the country, total control. And they took control of Japan, 1945, Yalta by the Sea. Go ask FDR. Go ask Stalin. Go ask Churchill. They took control. Why would you build 54 nuclear reactors, pop, Oapi drop, post the bomb on a place you know has the biggest tsunamis and earthquake activity on the planet? Who does that? Psychos. Why would they build one at Diablo Canyon? Why would they build one at San Onofre on the Ring of Fire? We got San Onofre shut down. It's a great. When we get the big quake there, which is going to happen, it's only a matter of time. You can thank Kevin Blanch for not having the major meltdown in San Onofre in San Diego, North San Diego County. Don't want to live like a Chernobyl refugee. Don't want to live like a Fukushima refugee. Sugar wars, blast wars, textile with plutonium wars. I told you the big Z was all about plutonium. Ah, they droned a hole in the dome at Chernobyl. They never did dome Fukushima. And that was one partial graphite reactor that blew Fukushima's 4 full core meltdowns buried in the Pacific Ocean. 8 spent fuel's biggest slowdown. What is this one? Ha! They'll never tell you. They will never tell you. And if you don't believe they can cover shit up, you know nothing about Fukushima. The greatest cover-up in human history, the greatest event in human history. Why are they refired that one? They only refired, I think, 4 reactors up in Japan out of the 54. Right there. It's refired up. There's 2 of them. Right there. Big enough to crack their spent fuels going to Zerk fires? Oh yeah. Big enough to fracture core? I don't know. But how are we ever going to find out? How are we ever going to find out? How are we ever going to find out? All hands on deck, all hands on deck. And the fact that this happened on 45 years ago today, John Lennon blown away, which is what's, talk about a marquee event in this country's history. Go ask Yoko Ono, heir to the Japanese royal family. Increasing nominal wages from 1945 to December 8, 1980. Decreasing nominal wages ever since. That was really the day that changed the world. They're molding, they're getting ready, but I don't know if they'll ever leave. 50 degrees here post Fukushima in the middle of winter, every day, all day in Snow, Utah. Fukushima changed the world and you did nothing. TikTok, Diablo Canyon clock. You're keeping Diablo Canyon open? Really? You're keeping Diablo? Why? Why? A place that produces 200% more solar a day than they can use. The dirty coal plant that feeds Los Angeles here in Utah, John Coltrane Curtis saying, hey, went offline this week. Well, it went offline Thanksgiving. Why? Because they have no customers. LA says, we don't need you. Producing 200% more solar a day than they can use. States like Utah, John Coltrane Curtis and the likes of little Spencer Cox blocking solar from coming in. Why? Why? In a place... Why would you keep Diablo Canyon? Diablo Canyon takes $4.4 million a day in California subsidies alone. Federal subsidies and another gazillion. Gavin, left, right, are both in this. They're all in. Why would you keep that open? Something they don't even use. I mean, the most dangerous nuclear reactor on the planet right now, what is it? Diablo Canyon. So, did this one go? I don't know. How are we ever going to find out? But just remember this. Remember Obama? Lessons from Fukushima, I learned. Right, Barry Antoinette, let them eat yellow cake. Who said he would keep us in the know. Remember? He gave the press conference on the Rose Garden lawn, and he lied. He told one of the greatest lies in human history. And I can prove it. He said, the plume is coming over us from the crippled nuclear reactors. This is on St. Patrick's Day, 2011. Scientists tell us no need to take car. It is safe. The exact same moment Cheryl Mills's emails were going out, his aide, through the Beltway, that were leaked, and Julian Assange and WikiLeaks put them out there. If you're the same time, the same day, to all the people inside the cult, including Hillary Clinton and Huma, who's married now to Soros's kid. Don't go outside. The plume is coming over us from the nuclear energy meltdowns of Fukushima. It's radioactive. If you have been outside, wash your clothes, take a shower, which wouldn't do shit. Take some iodine, but which will do nothing. They lied. He says, I'll keep the American public in the know. They have the right to know. He never mentioned it again until he was on Jimmy Kimmel right before he left office. He says, did you ever get calls 4 o'clock in the morning like Hillary said in her ads? Jimmy Kimmel to Barack Obama. Yeah, of course I did. I was president of the United States. Can you give me an example? Yeah, when Fukushima happened. Jimmy Kimmel, what's Fukushima? Let alone what sentence is that? I mean, my God, this is the biggest cover-up in human history. All hands on deck. You're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. 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 Until they happen. See no nuclear energy. Hear no nuclear energy. Speak no nuclear energy evil. The nuclear energy emperors have no clothes. All hands on deck. All hands on deck. All hands on deck. All hands on deck. The United States runs that show. And if you don't think they knew this was going to happen, oh, Oppie and Clan, why would you build 15? Of course they knew it was going to happen. You got tsunamis and earthquakes. Well, why would you build nuclear? That's the plan. Don't you get that? Why would you build one? Why would Gavin and Trump both get together? They're supposed to be enemies, right? Why would they get together and keep Diablo Canyon, all the nuclear pork, to keep that? We don't even use it. California not using any of it. Nobody's using any of it. Huh. Oh my God. Because the nuclear energy cult, aka the Untouchables, can do whatever the fuck they want. They own you. They own the world. Fuck it. If Fukushima didn't prove that, I don't know what. So I tag this. It'll get no views because they have me so kettled that it's unbelievable. Lessons from Fukushima unlearned. Let's start this at 11:11. John Lennon blown away 45 years ago today. What else do I have to say? Stay untuned.